Hello and welcome back to another wonderful lordfish tutorial where we're going to work on lamps today. I think lamps, outdoor lamps, like a cast iron lamp on the side of your house. Kind of an old style, but I think it's a classic, and I think a lot of people out there are going to want this for their game. So let's get started. I've already done sizing. You're going to have to do a sizing according to whatever game engine you're using. And so you should know those settings. And if you need help, if you're using Unreal, you can refer to one of my older videos. Again, I'm Lord Fish. Check out my channel. I've got lots of animations, video gameplay, and other Blender tutorials. So let's get started here. I'm going to go to our size, and we're just going to make it a bit taller to start. We can start off with this base, and there's a few different ways we can make the top and bottom piece. You could always use a separate piece to make this piece in particular by copying this piece and duplicating it with Shift D and dragging it up and get it into the shape you want. So we just make this bigger, make this smaller, like so. And we go to faces up here in edit mode with tab, and we make that smaller, and we can make a cap for it basically like that. And then if we put a cap on the top and the bottom, it will be pretty good. We're going to have to make the bottom one a bit different, obviously, but something like that would be a good start to making a lantern. And again, you can make this in one piece by just using your first piece, grabbing, going to edit mode, grabbing the face if you're up here on faces and hitting E, and then coming out a little bit, and then coming out like so, up like so, E again, and then S to shrink it. And then there's no need for that cap piece, so maybe we'll go that way today. And we'll just make it in one piece for simplicity. You can see there's a bit of an angle of it going up and down, and if you don't like that, we can just grab some of the faces that we want to move. Let's just grab all these, this. And there is buttons to make this go all the way around. I know somebody did tell me one of them in one of my videos, but I do forget what button it was. Like so, and if you don't like the top, we can always bring it down. Make it a little flatter, make it a little taller, shrink it in a little bit, whatever you need to do to make it more your style. For us today here, I think we'll go like so, something like that. Looks pretty good to me, still in one piece, which I like one pieces. Let's do the bottom, so let's go E, hit out of there, and then we'll hit S to drag it out. We'll hit up to drag it back up near the face, but not all the way, so there's a slight angle. And then we'll do something like that. And again, we can curve all these angles if we like. We can grab the whole thing and just give it a little bit of curve if we like. But I would start off more so, and I would definitely use different pieces for that. But maybe we'll make a couple quick versions, see how long this takes. So I think I like everything. Looks pretty good. Looks pretty much like a lamp, a lantern for outdoors. One thing I would probably do is shrink this, and you're going to have to play around with it. Maybe look at a picture of a lamp while you're doing it to kind of help you. Then we'll just go ahead and grab all these faces, and like I said, maybe we'll make a couple different versions. We're going to hit I. I think we're still grabbing on the other side, so we're going to hit I again. So it separates both sides and up and down like so. So each one of these is different. Then we're going to hit E. And then we're going to hit S again. And it's just going to give it a little contour as it's going into there. And it should all make sense in the end. What I might do is move this up a little more like so. And go, I'm going to bring it out to almost the same as the other one. I think it'll look a little better like that. You're going to have to mess around with it like so until you get it just right. Maybe you'd rather have a circular shape to it. All right, we'll do a few different versions just for say. So the top piece, we need something for the lamp to either hang or something like that. So we got a couple different choices. We can make the lamp go up. We can give it some contours if we want. Say if we want to go like so, we can put that wherever we want and go in or out to make it more of a... Let me do this actually to give a good example. And then we'll go to faces up here. And we'll do something like that just to make it look even more sophisticated and a little more refined. We're going to hit Shift A. Sorry, I have to look down at my keyboard to know what I'm hitting. I know where it is, I just don't always know what button I'm hitting. Alright, something like so. Maybe a little bit smaller. Alright, and before we actually go ahead and change the shape at all, we're going to hit Shift D, and we're going to drag it up. It's just going to make a duplication. So let's take this, let's stretch it out, and if you get lost or you fall behind at all, remember you can pause the video and just take your time to catch up. It's not a race. I do go a little fast for people, and I go a little slow for other people. Just making some other adjustments as I go. Try to make it nicer to the way I want it to be designed. Actually, we might do one more thing before we go on. Let's grab this. I'm just looking at it. And again, you're going to want to make little refineries, refine your design a little better as you go. I don't know if I'm saying that in the right way, but I'm sure you guys can understand what I mean. Something like that, I feel like it would look better for some reason. And I think it does, so I'm going to leave it like that. You're going to have to keep doing these things as you go. I'm going to make this a little bit smaller, like so. Yeah, about that long. And we're going to go there. We'll grab that one, and we are out of edit mode, by the way. We're going to hit here. We're going to hit 90 degrees and see which way she goes. Okay. So let's do this. Make it a little bigger than that one. Bring it down. Give it a little bigger than that. And it should be all exactly centered as long as you haven't moved anything from side to side. Shouldn't be any issues at all. And let's just give it a little bit of curve. So what we're going to do, there's two ways to make the hole in the middle. What we're going to do is we're going to grab the faces. Of course, up here you need to be locked on faces. And we're going to Control B it to round it. And you're going to see it looks pretty bad. So we're going to roll our inner mouse forward. It's going to give it a few edges, but not go too far. And like so. And what am I going to do here? I'm going to drag it in just a hair. Like so. And then I'm going to hit I. I'm going to drag that in even farther. Like so. Alright, like that. And I know there's still some faces in there, but it gives us the illusion of the hook shape that we want, or the hole shape we want. So we're going to go ahead and make something to hold this with now. So make another cylinder. And we will go to the move icon, move it up. We're going to flip it. And if you're hearing music in the background, I'm very sorry. My son is learning to be a rapper. So he's rapping away. Him and the boys there. Here, just let's stretch this out a little bit. Where it makes sense mostly. It's a little big still. But maybe about the right size for this. So what I'm going to do is duplicate it. And then I'm going to go look at this very carefully. And I'm just going to hit S. And right about there, right when you got just the... oh, we moved down a little bit. We got a little bit more room actually. We're going to drill a hole through the middle of that. And we can move them both to the center to absolutely 0, 0, 0, 0, 0 to make sure we're exactly medium on there. But I'm just going to punch it through like this. So what we're going to do is drag this back to make sure it goes through all the faces. And then we're going to grab this after by shift left clicked. And then we're going to hit object, bool, and we're going to do difference. And what it's going to do is give us a hole right through there. And it's a little bit of an edge there, as you can see, but we could move that around if we want to get rid of it or move it to center. But we're not going to bother doing that because you're not going to be able to see that. And I'm just going to stretch this like so. All right. So maybe a little bigger. Let's go something like that, I guess. Make it a little longer. And we can do a straight pull like this. We could put a little piece here to hold it on. We can leave it like that, or there's one more way we could do it. Maybe I'll just move this out of the way. This might be a more interesting way to do it. And if you're trying to put more of a design in it, it might be a better way to do it. So we're going to introduce the curve here. And if you missed it, just go back in the video. I'm going to hit tab. I'm going to grab this face. I'm going to move the arrows. We're just going to put it exactly in the middle if we can, as closely as possible. And another way we could have did that is flipped it up and down so that the curve was up and down to make sure that we had it absolutely perfectly straight the other way. I'd hit tab and move it up and move it over. Something like this. I'm going to shrink it down for the piece is a little smaller. And then I'm going to hit tab again. I'm going to grab this. Hit E. And oops, let's not move it that way. Let's go back and let's move it with the arrows where we keep it perfectly straight up and down because we don't want to lose where we are basically. And we're going to hit E again. And we're going to move these around after is the purpose of making all these if you're starting to wonder. Let's move back. Let's grab this end. And as you could probably guess, I'm starting to shape a hook. And we're going to make a hook for this kind of has a way that it kind of supports the rest of it. Let's just move this up actually. You can see it doesn't quite make sense. What else we could do is shrink this down. You're just going to move these around until you get the perfect edges on exactly what you're trying to do. And as you can see, it looks pretty good. Let's move this guy just a little bit down and then a little bit out. And then grab this top one. We're just going to move it a little bit forward. That's maybe too far, so maybe a bit back. Something like that. And it's a little out of place and a little out of shape, but you're getting the idea. It's perfectly straight and back. And you're going to think, well, that's not the right size either, but we're going to go to the here and then to geometry, and we're just going to go to depth. And we're going to change it to a 1. And that should do the job. Again, you probably have to move some of them around a little bit. Maybe this one just a hair. It looks like it's just a hair out of place. There we go, like that. Something like that. And we'll move this back until it's in place. Maybe if it's too big or too small, we'll just grow it a little bit. Or we can also change the depth to make it thicker. It's too thick for me, but you get the idea. Something like that I'm going to go with. That's kind of what I'm looking for. See, this is now just a hair out of place. You could tell when everything's perfect, it'll feel right. Okay, so let's move on. We'll make this hook. Let's convert it to a mesh. And then we will go into edit mode. And we will go to edges. And we will grab this and hit control, left click, control, left click, control, left click. All the way around. And again, there is another way to do it that's easier. Somebody did tell me, but I completely forgot. And I'm just going to close that in a little bit. And then we're going to hit E. And I'm going to arrow move this up a little bit. And just close it up a little bit. Kind of like that. E. Ooh, I shouldn't have moved it there. Undo. And we'll use the arrows to move it because it's going to keep it a little more better. And S again. And when you're happy with it, you're going to hit F to fill the last remaining gap. Now we're just going to go ahead and again go into the edit mode after clicking on this piece. And we're going to just hit left click, shift left click. Left click, control, and then control left click again. And that's how we'll grab all those edges. And if you let go like me, you can just go undo and you'll have them all. And we can fill this edge or we could leave it, but I'm just thinking what would be better. Let's just leave it actually. It's going to get buried. So we're going to hit, sorry about that, Shift A. We're going to hit mesh, pull up another cube, we'll pull it back, pull it up. Something like this for a wall mount. And then we are going to shrink it to something like this. And then we'll go ahead and go into edit mode with tab. And we will release these edges. Left click, shift left click the whole time to release one at a time. Till it's just those edges. Control B. Wrap it around till it looks kind of nice. Something like that. and we will move it into place, and we'll just look at it and make sure it kind of looks symmetrical and everything else. I think it does. You can always make adjustments after. Grab that and that, Control J to join them. If you want to kind of make the whole thing a little bit bigger, you can if you need to, or smaller, or whatever you need to. I feel like we should have made the bottom piece a little different on this one, but let's go ahead and finish this item up real quick. You're probably going to want to join them together unless you want to make it for you can add and remove the light randomly, but that's going to be up to you. But let's grab that piece, grab that piece, grab that piece, Control J, and join them together. So we can move it anywhere we want to. Final movement. We'll grab that piece, we'll grab this piece, and we'll Control J, and it's now one piece. Pretty easy. Let's go to our color wheel. Go ahead and color it. Since it's going to be cast iron item, we'll go ahead and make everything a dark color, like so. Well, it doesn't really matter because we're just assigning slots to it, basically. And you're going to have to add a secondary color. Let's go to faces up here. Click off everything, faces. And we're going to hit left click, shift left click. Doesn't really matter because you're just giving a slot for these things to be colored. So depending on how many different metals you want to use or different materials, you're going to have to color them all individually. This is going to be where our light emits from, so we're going to have to make this a different color. So let's go ahead and make it a different color. There we go. Looks pretty good. I like it. I hope you guys like it. Let's right click, shade smooth it. And depending which blender you're using, you should be able to finalize it just by going in here and changing it to at least 35. And your shade smooth settings may be somewhere else depending where they are. You can also apply it if you really like. Not sure if you're supposed to or not. I'm kind of new to this newer blender, but I think it's fine either way. So there we go. There's one. Let's quickly make another one that's a little bit different, a little bit more design to it. And I'm not going to make the mount for this one. I'm just going to make the different bulb, basically. So let's stretch this out, or the different lamp itself, a little bit like that. Maybe a little less like that. Somewhere like that. I'll grab this bottom face, and we're going to go like this. And then we are going to, what are we going to do? Let's grab, to make it different, let's grab this edge, shift left click to grab the rest of the edges. When you got all four, Control B, and we're going to roll the mouse back towards us until it's just one, like that. And we're going to give our lamp this shape. Hopefully you guys are going to understand where this is going in a minute, and you're going to enjoy it. So now let's go up to the top face, and we have to adjust it. So let's hit E, but let's right click to cancel. And let's hit S. You can see we're kind of overlapping the other side, making some unsightly edges. So let's just make sure we move it up a little bit, like so. Maybe a little bit more. There we go, something like that. And then we're going to hit E again, like so. And then we're going to hit E again. And I'm just left clicking to stop. Sorry, I should have said that. And I went in that time with S and then E again. And again, this is going to be all up to you if you want to keep it kind of symmetrical as you go in. Or if you want to leave it like that, maybe you do. So I'm just going to go like this. We'll make a little cap for it. And if this needs to be a little different, we'll go E again and S and go in again. And it can have another cap if we like. I think that's a pretty cool little design for a lamp. It gives it a little bit more shape and structure. So let's finish it off. Let's hit E. Just stop there. And then we're going to hit S. It's the same idea as what we did at top, but probably a little more stable to do it this way, actually. That looks pretty good to me. It's just giving it a base to sit on because it's not going to have a base like this piece is not going to be there. So, all right, so let's go into edit mode again. We'll grab this face, this face, this face, this face. We're going to hit I. And we're not going to have to hit I a second time because they already separated, because they already have a piece in between. We're going to hit E. We're going to right click to cancel, and we're going to hit S to go in a little bit. Or you can grab each individual face if you rather and drag them in individually. And since we are here, maybe we'll just go to our coloring right away and hit new. And don't let go of those edges yet. Let's just keep a hold of those. We'll make it our cast iron color. And then we will add the slot to make our light colors. There we go. Kind of see it a little more in perspective there. So if you want to make any more changes, now's the time. And everything could be still changed around easily. So whatever you need to do. I'm just kind of looking if I want to change anything. I think it's a little big up here, so I'm just going to hit left click, then control left click, and control left click to circle it. And again, you can just easily drag these around. If you don't like them, maybe I'll move it down there, but maybe I'll make it a bit wider, like so. Maybe I will grab the face up here, and then I'll hit shift left click, and I will grab this edge after, and I'm just going to control left click all the way around. Now I can control the whole top piece to make a final adjustment. Adjustments are easy once you know how to do them. So don't stress about your project. You're going to get there. You're going to make it. And hopefully this helps you in your project and getting there today. Let's shade smooth it, because we always shade smooth things. They look a little better that way. I don't know if it went. It looks like it did. We'll go over here to modifications. We'll go to 35. And there we go. And we got it. We can go in a little more into depth if you guys want. If you want, we can make an actual light bulb to be sitting inside of there, depending what your game is and what it's going to look like. It's going to depend on what you're going to spend your resources on. I would rather go this way. You get the idea. You know it's a light, but then we don't have to waste a ton of resources doing it. We can also make a little top triangle piece for this. It'd be easy enough. So say if we just hit E again and we went up like that and we dragged it in like so, and then we hit Control B, maybe rolled our mouse forward once or twice, and give it a little nice edge. It looks like we actually went too far on that. There's a point where you went too far, and I'll show you it. You can see it opening up right now, and it's getting a little bigger. You can see all the edges crossing each other. You can't cross that point, so you need to stay beyond it, like so. But I think that gives you even more of the idea of what you might be looking for your game. So I hope you enjoyed today's tutorial. It's really short, but it really got to the point. Check out some of my animations on my channel. You're going to love them. Check out my website for my games, Queenfish Games. I'm the maker, one of the makers of Yard Sale Simulator. I'm also one of the makers of Fish in a Town to Remember. It's just me and my wife. We are two people, and we are a little team, a husband and wife team, and we love each other so much. So come join in the fun. Check out our animations. Check out our games. Come have some fun with us, and thanks for watching the video. Make sure to thumbs up, and we will see you next time.